Yo, Async Book Club. We'll be talking about Principles by Ray Dalio. It's so fuzzy. Principles by Ray Dalio. Well, this book is pretty good. Anybody that kind of wants to know how to live a better life, not only with work, which that's what his, his book is really partially geared for, but also personal life. Um, this book is separated into uh, several parts, three parts. The first part kind of tells you about his journey. Second part is life principles, like personal life, and the third part's work principles. So, which there's a lot with the work principles. But yeah, for me, it was definitely very enlightening. Um, and I just want to go over some of the quotes that I have that are interesting. The first quote I have is on page or index 12, not page, preface 12. Um, Being able to experience painful failures that provide big learnings without failing badly enough to get knocked out of the game. So that's really cool concept is basically failing, but not so much that you go into jail. You want to fail but not go bankrupt. Um, so you want to experience failure, but not too crazy. Um, One also has to be an independent thinker who correctly bets against the consensus, which means being painfully wrong a fair amount. So I love that. And, if you just go with the crowd all the time, you'll kind of be making some popular mistakes from a stock purchase perspective. You could be buying into a crash, all that kind of stuff. Um, okay, let's go. Let's go into the actual beginning. Interesting. Um, so based on this book's preface, there's a think for yourself. What do you want? What is true? What are you going to do about it? And that was kind of cool. I like wrote out what do I want? Freedom to work, live anywhere, feel exhilarated, engage people to be the best they can be, dive deeper into things rather than shallow on everything, have impact on family, friends, and community, be consistently high performing, work hard. So that was a cool activity that Ray had me do. I remember that. That was nice. Okay. And at the time I was working on a medical cannabis company, and um, I put a lot of notes about Leafly, weed maps, Relief, blockchain, all this stuff because I was like trying to see how this book could help me run that startup. So if you have a startup or a company that you're working on, this is a good book for kind of diving deep. It didn't help me to the point that I was successful, but um, I do remember getting some insights that were pretty interesting from this. Um, Page 18, if you are not aggressive, you are not going to make money. And if you are not defensive, you're not going to keep money. So that's really smart. It's basically saying in order to make money, but I would say not make money, in order to be successfully making money, like to be, especially at a business, you need to be aggressive. You need to put yourself out there. You need to go for it. Um, However, you also need to be cautious because then you're just going to lose all your money because you can't just like invest in every stupid thing or every stupid technology or product. You got to know where to put your money. My business has always been a way to get me into exotic places and now allow me to meet interesting people. Yeah. One of the ways I do that actually is with the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I use that as like an office, and it's like a really cool way to um, meet with interesting people. It's impressive. They like it. I like it. Let's keep going. Going. Keep going. I think I'm gonna skip to the life principles because the first part is where he's coming from. Or yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think that would be more interesting. So we're getting to principles. This is part two. This is his life principles. Part two, life principle. Life principles. What? Okay, there we go. So it is more important to understand and deal with the bad stuff, since the good stuff will take care of itself. Yeah, that's smart. You got to address the elephant in the room. This is that was page 135, by the way. Page 136. The more open-minded you are, the less likely you are to deceive yourself, and the more likely it is that others will give you honest feedback. Yeah. So you probably have met people that are kind of like this, like trains that go forward, and no matter what they hear, what they listen to, they're just going forward and not listening. You want to be that person that is very open minded. And when you do that, people around you are like, feel more comfortable to tell you the uncomfortable truth. Okay. Page 139. While our higher level thinking makes us unique among species, it can also make us uniquely confused. This struggle causes people to confuse what they want to be true with what actually is true. And that's so funny. Like, that's the double-edged sword of being human is we're sometimes too smart for our own good. And while a lion or an elephant or these different animals kind of follow their instinct all the time and just like do what they feel is right and don't think about it too much because they're just like roaming around doing their thing. Like they don't put like they don't have like a vocabulary like we do. They don't form sentence structure. They can't like, you know, really kind of mess with themselves like that. So that's an important thing to keep in mind as being a human. That's an issue. Um, to understand the world accurately, you need both. Um, which he's talking about top down and bottom up. By taking a bottom up perspective that looks at each individual case, we can see how it lines up with our theories about the laws that we expect to govern it. When they line up, we're good. So, seeing things from the top down is the best way to understand ourselves and the laws of reality within the concept of overarching universal laws. So, uh, um, just to rewind a bit, so top down, by trying to find the one law that derives them all. Um, in case of markets, one could study universal laws like supply and demand that affect all economies and markets. In case of species, one could focus on learning how the genetic code works for all species. That's top down. So, like laws to what happens. Bottom up is studying a specific case and the codes that are true for them and figuring something out about the whole thing. So, that's bottom up. However, you do need to be able to do both, which I think would be the equivalent of being able to go from zoom out to zoom in and zoom in to zoom out um, on various issues that you're dealing with. Um, Page 140. We are incapable of designing and building a mosquito, let alone all the species and most of the other things in the universe. Yeah, that should be interesting with technology coming these days. Uh, Same page 140. Whenever I observe something in nature that I or mankind think is wrong, I assume that I'm wrong and try to figure out why that nature is doing makes sense. So we're at, yeah, so Yeah. So learning from nature is important, and learning how animals live, how to even plants live, and kind of trying to figure out maybe that's not always the bad way to live. Um, I'm at 10 minutes now. I'm not gonna go into everything here. There's a lot of notes that I have, but if you're interested, put in the comments, and I'll keep on going with this book. Peace.